the Bible Artist podcast, and we are starting to do kind of a year-end review for 2025. We're going to be discussing our nominations for the best Bible shows, Bible movies, performances, anything related to things like The Chosen and House of David and the Promised Land and all these different things that are happening. We'll be kind of nominating things for an award show, which we will do in an upcoming week. So we'll be discussing kind of different options, and you can all be a part of that conversation. So if you have ideas and thoughts about what you think the best Bible shows and Bible movies are and other performance categories, definitely be engaging with us on the comments. I'll try to keep an eye out for different suggestions, different arguments, if anyone is out there that wants to participate in our decision-making process. I'm joined, as always, by Victor, my co-host. We may be joined by Kyle, who, as some of you know, is occasionally another co-host that shows up. And so we'll see if he's able to make it. But we're going to hit several different categories related to Bible movies and shows. But before we get to that, Victor, as kind of a warm-up question to kind of maybe like kind of level set or give people a sense of the types of movies and shows that we enjoy outside of Bible adaptation. These aren't the only movies and shows that we watch and that we enjoy. And so I thought we could share a few of our favorite movies and shows of 2025 that are not Bible movies and Bible shows. These don't necessarily have to be movies and shows that came out during 2025. So, you know, if you watch for the first time some movie that came out before that period, to include that. But yeah, Victor, I'm curious what some of your favorite movies and favorite shows that you watched this year were.
Well, this year has kind of been a rough year for overall movies. I had a lot of I'm a big superhero film and science fiction film, and like all the superhero films were kind of okay at best. But my favorite film probably this year was one that really surprised me, was the movie Sketch, which was put out by Angel Studios sometime around September, I think. And it was the filmmaker described it as Inside Out meets Jurassic Park, which is kind of exactly how I would describe the movie. And that for me, that was my favorite film. I also enjoyed 28 Years Later, the zombie film, which I thought was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. I wasn't a big fan of the previous two films, but I heard good things about this one, and I really enjoyed it. But most of the other big ticket films from this year have kind of fallen flat for me.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying there. I used to be more into like superhero movies and shows and stuff like that. I haven't been as into it in the past few years, in part just because I feel like the genre has been in a bit of a slump. But my wife and I were like also super into horror movies and thrillers and stuff like that, and it's a pretty good season to be a fan of horror stuff, because there's lots of different things being made, especially if you jump on like Shudder, like some of the subscription services you can do for horror stuff, which we usually do. Like we'll do it during like Halloween season, like October, and just grab a few extra ones. So some of the favorite ones that I watched this year, and again, I don't know if these are brand new movies. Some of them I think have come out in previous years, but I'm just catching them for the first time now. The Righteous is one that I really liked. It's kind of about this priest, a little bit of like a kind of a Job scenario where like Satan kind of shows up and is kind of testing this guy. Only the guy isn't exactly Job, because he's not a good guy, but it's a really interesting kind of drama, like really good performances, but also some interesting like theological themes, even though like I don't necessarily know if it's from a Christian, but some really interesting stuff in that movie. There's another movie we watched called Red Rooms, which it's hard to describe. It's like this woman who has a fixation with this serial killer who would stream his kills in like these dark web streaming sites called Red Rooms, and she's like, I don't know, you're kind of following her. I can't give more details about it because it would kind of give some stuff away, but that was really good. Another one called The Ugly Stepsister, which is like the Cinderella story, except you're kind of sympathizing with one of the stepsisters and the extreme lengths that she goes to try to keep up with her pretty sister. And it's kind of got like some body horror stuff. All these ones, by the way, like, viewer discretion advised. I think all those are probably R-rated movies for good reason. So, if you can't put up with some stuff, then just be careful with those. In terms of shows, did you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say TV is where most of the stuff I've really liked has been.
Yeah.
Like, probably my favorite thing this year by far was Andor season 2,
Mm-hmm.
Star Wars, which I thought
Yep.
was a near masterpiece in what it was able to do as far as tying Rogue One and the original Star Wars movie kind of all in a nice bow, or it just made all of them better.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that was the best one by far. Also, I'm enjoying Pluribus right now. I think it's an interesting sci-fi show on Apple Plus. Death by Lightning, which was about the James President Garfield assassination. It was pretty good. That's on Netflix. Alien Earth. Probably my favorite thing this year, though, was Adolescence. That was the 4-episode series. And I mean, I thought it was just a masterpiece. So.
Is that on Netflix?
That one's on Netflix, yes.
Okay. I've still got like Netflix like comped me a subscription so that I could do my like early access screening of
Adolescence is only 4 episodes long, so definitely give that one a go.
Okay, I'll try to get that in. Yeah. I definitely Andor was really good. Have you caught Silo?
I've watched most of that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It was okay. It was good.
I watched the first season for the first time this year, and I like the first season probably a bit better than the second season. But and Alien Earth, I enjoyed some of the, like, less as a horror movie and more like I liked some of the world building stuff that they did.
I liked Alien Earth. I thought it just kind of fizzled out on the last episode where nothing really happened.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah,
and I don't think we're getting to season 2, or are we?
Oh, really? Oh, I thought that was.
I'm trying to remember. I heard some news about it. I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
You can edit that out. You can edit that part out.
Okay. Well, yeah. If you're joining us live, feel free to leave your favorite movies and shows of the year. Love to hear what other people are watching besides Bible movies and shows, which is what we're going to get to discussing now. So let's get into discussing our nominations.
One question I'm going to have, you're probably going to go into, is like, are we saying that these are explicitly Bible referencing movies, or are they broadly more faith-based stuff, or our overall category description?
I'm mostly keeping it limited to like Bible adaptation. So it's taking some sort of biblical story. So not as much like there are a lot of good movies out there that are generally faith-based. They might have a theme or a character or something like that. But I'm not getting into that as much just because that's not as much kind of the focus of what we do. Occasionally we'll do stuff that's more general, but I thought it would be good just to keep it kind of tight and focus on that category, since I don't know, that's kind of in the name of the podcast and stuff. But I'm glad you did clarify. One other kind of thing I'd just bring up, especially because we're towards the end of the year and people are giving and stuff like that. So if you want to support the Bible Artist, which is my website where I've got all my reviews, all my Bible studies that I provide to people lots of other resources on, The Chosen, House of David, Promised Land, all the big Bible movies and shows that are coming out. You can go to my Buy Me a Coffee page, and you can give a one-time, $5 or whatever, or you could become a member and give on either a monthly or an annual basis and get a few extra perks like the PDFs of some of my stuff and a few other kind of extra resources that I provide people, a couple extra blogs per month. So yeah, if you want to support the stuff that I do, that's always really appreciated. And also, if you just haven't checked out thebibleartist.com, that's where a lot of my work is as well. I just released today a review of the animated David movie, which we'll get into discussing in a little bit when we talk about top animated Bible movie of the year, which there are like 4 different things vying for that category, which is amazing. But before we get to like the big awards, like the top live action Bible movie or show of the year, top animated one, I thought we'd kind of ease our way in. So I've got a couple of kind of general categories here at the beginning. We've got some performance categories in the middle, and then we'll eventually get to top movie, or top movie / show, top animated towards the end. So first category that I have for us to discuss here is best moment in a Bible show or film in 2025. And I have a few suggestions here, although we don't have to just stick with these. These are just a few that came to my mind as I was putting together the slides. But again, if you are joining us in the chat, which actually it looks like, oh, wait, Kyle, I cannot see you. Interesting. Okay. A little technical difficulty with Kyle. He's the invisible man right now. Kyle, maybe try to rejoin with the link in the email. Anyway, while Kyle is getting ready to join us, some of the ideas for moments in Bible movies and shows that I think really stood out from the year that I put in here. So I've got like kind of the Dayenu from Chosen season 5. I think that was for all of us probably the highlight. Here we go. There's Kyle. Hey, Kyle. Welcome. Hey. Oh, good to have you, man.
Are you on mute? Say something. I can't hear you.
Not working.
Oh, I hear you now.
I can hear you.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I have headphones, and I was hoping that would.
Yeah, don't worry about the headphones. It's okay. Yeah.
All right, don't let me. Best moment. This is an exciting one.
Okay, so yeah, best moment in a Bible show or film in 2025, Kyle. So feel free to throw in additional ideas for moments, but yeah. So the Dayenu was, I think, a top moment for all of us from Chosen season 5. I think the triumphal entry was another kind of big moment for that season. There might be other moments that people might want to suggest. So again, feel free if you are joining us here live, throw your ideas out if you have any. So those are 2 moments from Chosen season 5. From House of David season 1, the obvious moment I think is the David and Goliath battle. There are some other cool moments from season 1, but that's the one that kind of rose to the top for a lot of us. Lots of different things. And I guess I should stop here and say, when I'm saying moment, I'm thinking kind of broadly. So, it might be like 20 minutes or even like half of a show, like if it's all kind of the same event or kind of related events. We don't have to be like super precise in how we define moments. So all the things that kind of were related to David's battle with Goliath, I think were a really compelling moment in House of David season 1. And then in season 2, a couple ideas, although there are a lot of big moments in season 2. One moment that I thought of was kind of David. So Kyle, I know you haven't gotten to all of season 2, but these are biblical scenes. So, spoiler. When David kind of gets sent into a trap by Saul, and he has to fight his way out, and then he returns, and it's very dramatic, and the kind of the aftermath of that whole kind of sequence, I thought was pretty powerful. And then in episode 8, David's kind of final parting with Jonathan, which is again a very famous biblical moment that I thought was really well done. So those are a few ideas. Oh yeah, I didn't mention, I thought Light of the World did a really great job with Jesus's crucifixion and then resurrection. I thought they kind of brought that to life in a pretty evocative or emotional way. Yeah, any ideas from you guys that I didn't put here? Nominations for moments, or
I got one. You go.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
Go.
I was gonna say it's like another House of David season 2 moment is the confrontation at the end, the kind of the mental, spiritual battle that was having. I thought that was very well done. Yeah, it was
Saul and Samuel.
I was just very. It was an extra exciting end to a very exciting season. I thought that was. But I mean, all the ones that you've got picked here are what I really like about the ones you've selected are a good cross section of moments that we know in the Bible, and we really want them to nail it. Like, okay, here we go. Hope you guys don't screw this up. And these are all scenes that they managed to reach the bar. But like the one with the Dianu was like, that was one that obviously is not a direct biblical thing, and it's something that feels like it should be in there.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but we have both ends of the spectrum on that.
Yep. Yeah, actually, now that you bring it up, I think that's the only one that isn't kind of directly adapting some sort of kernel of a biblical story, even if some of these expand on the story in various ways. But that's the only one that's kind of whole cloth made up. But like you said, it feels like it's kind of got the vibe of a biblical moment in some ways. But yeah, I agree that House of David season 2, the kind of finale confrontation is definitely very powerful. Kyle, any other ones for you?
Well, I'm going to nominate 2 under the radar awesome moments from House of David season 1. You guys have me so excited to see season 2 because I loved season 1. So, all right, 2 David moments that are very small, but that I loved. One was when they're, I think, like a wedding party or something like that, engagement party. It's kind of the flirty scene,
Yeah.
And Saul asks David, who's like the help at this thing, who his daughter should marry, and David looks him in the eyes and says, "Me," and he means it. I just loved the confidence of David. I thought that moment was really exciting. And a similar one was when that one dude, I completely forget his name. It's probably in a later episode of season 1, but he holds Dave. He like Suge Knights David, where he like throws him over the balcony and is holding him and is threatening to drop him to his death. And David is like, he knows that he's chosen. So he's like, go ahead, like, dude.
Yeah, that was a great moment. I agree.
Those are both the same episode. So I might like kind of combine those into one. Cause I love that. I think it's with Joab, where
Joab,
who does that.
Joab,
we get a little more context as the seasons progress for that. So
nice.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's those are both like part of a really powerful moment. And I remember that
David calling his shot.
Yeah.
Both of those scenes.
What an awesome protagonist. Yeah. Those would be my nominations. But we're selecting a winner out of the ones on screen, right?
No. We don't necessarily have to stick with the ones on screen. So if you guys like really want to argue for one of the ones that you're suggesting, then totally by all means. So we're not during this live stream going to kind of settle on our final thing. Like we may kind of, I don't know, vote or something off screen.
Oh, we're not just, so this isn't the Oscars.
This is nominations. This is nominations. And then we'll do like a final announcement of the actual choices in, I don't know, maybe next week. We'll see what we're able to do. So, but while we're kind of discussing nominations, we can also, if you want to make like a strong argument for one of these scenes to try to sway the other judges, which yeah, the three of us, we're going to be the judges of this. Although I'm going to do I'll do a blog maybe tomorrow or the day after, and allow kind of audience choice voting on some of these decisions as well. But as far as the kind of the official Bible artist award for best moment, yeah, anyone want to really try to put their weight behind one of these options?
I mean, I'm gonna put it behind the Diane you. I mean, that was for me, out of all of these, that was the one that was like the most emotionally impacting out of all of these. I mean, they're all great. These are all great scenes.
Yep.
But that's the one that surprised me the most, probably because I was obviously unfamiliar with it.
Yeah.
Because it's not in there, but it felt like, that is something that I would like to experience the way that they were doing it. It was just, it just felt like a very powerful moment.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I definitely think that I think it resonated with like so many people that moment, and yeah, definitely with me as well. Like it's so emotional, and we're kind of like combining two moments because there's the Dianu at the beginning of the episode and at the end, but for the purposes of what we're doing, they're kind of one moment. And yeah, it's just really personal and really kind of, I think, emphasizes what The Chosen is at its best, kind of showing kind of the personal human dimension of what it would have been like to follow Jesus and have like a relationship with him during his earthly ministry. So I definitely think that's high up there for me as well. Any big push for you, Kyle? Like one of the ones that you suggested, or also one of the things that I have on here?
The Dianu definitely was my favorite moment of season 5, and the only moment that I remember because I've blocked the rest.
I mean, the triumphal entry is a good second place. That was pretty well done. That was
just a little preview for people. Like if you have not caught our review discussion of the Chosen season 5. Yeah, it probably wasn't for any of us like the favorite season of The Chosen.
I'm a hater. I will limit my hating. That was it. I just thought it was a fun joke.
It will be nice to kind of give the Chosen season 5 some honors, because I know that for some people they thought it was the best season, and at the very least I think we can kind of all kind of coalesce maybe around the Dianu as a great moment, even if the season had some other moments that weren't as strong, or just parts of it that didn't all kind of pull together as well as we would have liked. So we'll that awesome. Seems like that's kind of a leader among us for that award. We'll do further.
I would stress no, I actually think I would go with the Dianu even over the House of David ones. That was just such a great scene. Okay, anyways, go on.
Yeah, I mean, House of David had some really great moments.
It did.
If I had to choose out of it, I might choose the David and Goliath, because I was like unsure of like how well it was going to come together, and then I thought they really nailed it pretty perfectly.
Let me ask you something, Kevin. Do you also enjoy watching puppies die?
I forgot.
Because it was so
Kyle,
sad watching poor Goliath.
Yeah, we are. Brutalized him. We're going to get to a best villain of the year as well, so you can argue hard for Goliath potentially.
Okay,
we'll get there soon. Let's keep moving, just because I've got several categories. So this is a category that you don't necessarily see in a lot of award shows, but I feel like it should be out there, because I think, especially I think it's important in kind of the Christian space, where things can be like so like safe, or like often people talk about Christian movies being kind of derivative and not being particularly innovative. And so I wanted to create an award for the biggest swing. So kind of the biggest like creative or innovative risk that a movie is willing to take. It may be with a character, it may be with a kind of technology, as we'll see in a little bit. It may be with some kind of other aspect of storytelling, or editing, or whatever, some sort of like out there concept, and it may not even totally land. So I'm not even necessarily fully giving it on execution. It's just a film or show that really has a big idea and goes for it, and commits to it. Isn't kind of like half-hearted. And
I
so
love this award. Is that top left one? Is that AI angel from House of David? See, you just get that one right off there. That was just a terrible decision. Okay, but go on.
Well, so that's actually when I was talking about it may not have been like perfectly executed. That is kind of what I had in mind. Is the House of David season 1, like they took a step. They took a risk in trying to do this whole sequence through AI, and I think with season 1, especially that whole sequence and some of the images that we got in it, I don't think turned out super well, but I do kind of at least honor them for trying something, even though I know it's also kind of a controversial decision as far as using AI versus using traditional animation and stuff like that. So it's kind of risky
that in mind,
in a couple different ways. Oh, go for it.
That in mind, I know that they've done in season 2. They used AI for 350 shots of like landscapes and armies and stuff like that. So there's a lot of shots in there that I was not aware. I thought were just traditional CGI, but they have gone all in on using AI to reduce the cost of the show. Like that one scene with the angel. I mean, if they did that today, it would look 10 times better. And that was only like a year and a half ago.
It wasn't even that show. Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
The production, whenever they made it, was like
I was watching it in March. I think it came out earlier. I can't believe that they banged out 2 seasons in that short. Anyways, yes, that's fascinating, Vic. I'm really sad to hear that, but I'm excited to see if I can pick out the AI shots in season 2.
So it's definitely harder in season 2. If you if you're not like looking for it, a lot of it just feels like it could have been like
like any wide shot where you see an establishing shot or a landscape or a castle or like 1,000 troops marching. That's going to be AI.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Okay. So I think it does evolve and get better in season 2, and so that's another reason why I included it in this category, because they really kind of took a risk in season 1 and it didn't fully pan out in season 1. Season 2, I think it's starting to work a little bit better, especially because they're not leaning on it quite so heavy. It's just some of these like establishing shots where it's not as kind of like story focused. I think putting it in for kind of that long sequence was maybe a little too much with season 1. But
Kevin, can I ask? Can I go through, because most of these I haven't seen? Can I guess what all this is real quick? All right, so we've got the AI angel up top. I'm guessing for the middle top one, that's the light of the world, and it's the narrative style of like using flashbacks and Charles Dickens to tell the Jesus story.
So that's actually King of Kings, but you're right. It is the Charles. Yeah, so those two are easy to get confused, but you're right in terms of the concept. Yes, it's having Charles Dickens as kind of the narrator of it. All
right, and then The Chosen, that's obvious, the Christopher Nolan style, what they did there with The Last Supper. Bottom left, making a horror film out of that intermediate period of Jesus, kind of maybe taking a creative swing there on the years of Jesus that we don't know, and making it
kind of using like horror and
horror elements. And then the one beside that's Testament, and it's the narrative choice to set the Book of Acts in the modern world. I haven't seen that show either. But is it like the setting switch is the wild swing?
Yeah, like alternate universe, even though they didn't fully kind of flesh it out as much as Victor and I would have liked, I think.
And then I couldn't figure it out until this very moment what the bottom right one is, but that's obviously in my landslide winner, turning the Book of Exodus into a sitcom, into The Office, is a wild swing. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I would argue out of those swings, I think only the Nicolas Cage one is a big swing.
Oh, really?
I think the rest are slightly derivative.
Mm-hmm.
But go on. I won't dominate that conversation. Not the Charles Dickens one. I want to abstain from that one. But the other ones, The Chosen, he's taking an established thing. The Book of Acts one, you're setting it in a modern day. The AI one almost seems like cost cutting and cutting corners rather than taking a creative swing. And setting something in The Office, that just kind of seems like everybody wants to set everything in The Office. So those all feel a little bit more like bunts than swings to me. And look at me hating. Vic, tell me why I'm wrong. And you guys.
I would say that these are all big swings is because, you're making a faith-based, Christian, Bible-based TV show or movie. Already, that is like you're asking for trouble if you're trying to make any money back.
That's true.
To then go and say, oh, not only we're going to try to make a TV show, but we're going to make a sitcom based on Exodus. Like, who would have thought on paper that would be a good idea? And to actually go through with it and to cast it and shoot it and do all the stuff, and they did it, and it worked. So it's like, it's like you've seen a million things of Exodus. You've never seen a comedy.
Okay, you've convinced me.
I would have thought there's no way that could succeed. And I was discounting it before it ever even I saw a moment of it. So
you win. Yeah, I'm on your side with that. You convinced me.
Yeah, and I think they really like committed to it as like a comedy, and really like, yeah, they could have gone with it and underdid the comedy, or they also could have just made it like totally like silly and not really kind of engaged with the biblical story. But they really committed to like both at the same time, and so like, even though you're right, everybody has done an Office style comedy in all kinds of different settings. I'm more just kind of interested by, surely kind of the decision to try to do a comedy with Exodus, like bring together a super kind of serious subject matter with kind of that comedic approach and personality, and kind of the mockumentary style is kind of tied to that, but like you said, that it is a little derivative in some ways, but
the degree of difficulty was so great that for them to even think about pulling it off, and they did. Which, if we want to go also to Testament, which took a similar big swing, where hey, we're going to take a familiar story and we're going to set it in modern times.
Yeah,
and I don't feel that succeeded on any of the levels that Promised Land did succeed on.
Yeah, and so I included it just because I wanted to try to give them something, but one of the issues that I had with it is that they didn't really commit to the concept fully. They, like, for it to have been more successful, what I really would have loved is if they had really tried to flesh out the world building, and like, if you're gonna set it in modern day, like, think about all the implications, like really like try to bring that to life and try to do some like real legit world building. And they did a little bit, but like it just kind of felt a little half baked in that degree. And so even though I put it on there, I'm not like arguing strongly for that. I in some ways kind of have that as a kind of a comparison case.
Well, I appreciated the swing that they took, and I hope that more people do that. Yes. But I think they also need to realize you can't just go into it, hey, I got a neat idea, and that's as much as we're going to do. You've got to commit to it. You've got to, because you don't want us to be asking more questions about the world building than that you could have easily addressed.
Yeah. As far as the other ones, I do agree to some degree. The Chosen, like, it is a concept that's been done, with Memento. It was like an interesting idea to have kind of this chiastic structure, especially because the Bible contains all kinds of chiasms. So I have to imagine that is kind of one of the factors that inspired them to try that out. And so I wanted to honor that, although it's probably not like top on my list. But they were kind of going out of kind of the comfort zone of their audience and doing something a little more like artistic or a little different that could have thrown some people. So I at least wanted to kind of recognize that. The Charles Dickens thing. So I've not seen King of Kings yet. I'm planning on seeing it before I make decisions, especially because I know I'm probably going to be the main one deciding on the best animated category. But it seems kind of like a strange swing to me, but I kind of wanted to honor it because like it strikes me as like so outlandish that you would have your frame narrative be like Charles Dickens, because like most of the kids that are watching, like Charles Dickens to them is going to be just as distant as like the biblical stories, or maybe even kind of like more distant in some ways, because like they've probably been kind of familiarized with biblical stories. But if you haven't seen like Christmas Carol or something, then like who is Charles Dickens to you? So choosing that as your frame narrative to the biblical story seems like a really strange choice to me. I'm interested to see what they do with it. But I'm guessing that's probably not going to be my kind of favorite swing, but it is like it's an interesting concept. They went out there, and so I at least wanted to kind of honor them.
It might have made more sense if they'd have done Muppet Charles Dickens.
Yeah.
Kids would have been like, "Oh, it's a Muppet. I get it."
Yeah.
So, but he's animated, so I guess they don't care. It's like, oh, it's just somebody telling the story that's animated. So that's good enough.
And then I did see Carpenter's Son. In some ways it's a big swing, but in some ways, there are kind of horror elements in the biblical story, like demonic possession. And so they're kind of picking up on that. But it was risky in the sense that you're kind of alienating a lot of the evangelical audience, because a lot of Christians are totally against horror. And so you kind of like shut down that audience. But then on the other hand, as far as like what they did with it, it's not like a pure Orthodox Jesus. There's definitely some kind of heretical dimensions of it. Jesus is not portrayed as being sinless, but he's also like, initially when I was kind of seeing the trailers for the movie and stuff, I was thinking that they were going to have Jesus. I thought this was like Brightburn with Jesus. So Brightburn is like a horror version of the Superman story. And I thought they were basically kind of doing the same sort of thing with Jesus, but like Jesus never like breaks bad. He kills someone with like his power at one point, but it's kind of like arguably justifiable in kind of judgment for what the person was doing. And like Jesus's arc is positive. Like he ends on like choosing forgiveness and stuff like that. He's not portrayed as like a created being. He is clearly the Son of God. So like I think it is kind of a creative swing to go the horror route, have Jesus kind of in the vicinity of Orthodox with a little bit of like kind of sub-orthodoxy in it, and to kind of explore this period of his life, choosing pseudepigraphal gospel. So yeah, Kyle.
Okay, so it's heretical because Jesus sins in it and he murks somebody in it. He takes someone out. That is a wild swing.
Yeah. So there's this crowd that is like coming to like try to get his family, and this kid like sees Jesus, and Jesus like reacts by like kind of force killing him, basically. Like it's real quick.
He kills a kid.
He's like probably a teenager. And the kid is like trying to tell people where they are and like get the crowd to come kill them all. So that's why, like, in terms of like biblical justice and stuff, like, God does some stuff like in that vicinity. Whether Jesus would have done that, I think probably not. But
Jesus in Matthew is like, love your enemies and do good to those who persecute you. Unlike me when I was a child.
So he does reach that point of like at the end, like he's basically like wrestling with the Satan, like a Satan possessed character, and he chooses not to kill that character, and like to forgive the horrible thing that character's done. Anyway, all that's to
Wait,
say, I'm not trying to defend the movie, but I'm just
yeah.
I like a lot of Christians. I feel like are like it's either like I'm not like super supporting the movie, but I'm also not wanting to run with like the worst kind of mischaracterization of
Right.
it. I want to give kind of an accurate sense of what they are doing.
It sounds like you're trying to be fair. It sounds a little Last Temptation of Christ-ish, where it's just kind of like, But I just one question, then I'm down to move on. How was it for you emotionally watching a representation of Jesus kill somebody? Was it very weird? Was it were you like, oh yeah, it's totally justified, or like, how is it just for you emotionally?
No, like that moment I think was one of the moments in the film that like bothered me a little bit, but it's kind of it's a pretty quick moment, and then kind of the movie rushes on to other stuff. Yeah, no.
See, I think this whole thing would be a great standalone discussion of like how far can you bend the Bible narrative before it breaks?
Yeah.
Can you make it a comedy? Yes, I think we've determined that you can make it a comedy, and it does not violate or detract from the word itself. Testament, you can see. Can we move it to a different time and place, and will it still work? Can we make it a horror movie? I think there's ways to discuss these things to see where, because we've got better examples now. It's always been like a lot of theoretical ideas of like, oh, well, you could never do that. Well, now we have something that you can look at and gauge the success or failure of that on.
That's a good point. Yeah, we should. I know you had an idea for kind of something we could do with that. So maybe in 2026 we can do some kind of more like big picture conversations about some adaptation issues like that. I would enjoy that. Anyway, we didn't really like kind of. Yeah, I don't know. After having like discussed it all, I'm curious where you guys are sitting. Like, are there any ones that are standing out to you? It's sounding like Victor, maybe Promised Land for you.
Promised Land.
I think me too.
Okay. Yeah, I think that might be standout for me as well. Yeah, I would like
because it succeeded.
Yeah,
it took its shot, and it actually delivered and exceeded the expectation.
Yeah. Again, if you're joining us, feel free to leave your thoughts on the biggest swing in a Bible show or film. We're going to keep moving, and let's get to some of the performances. So what I did is I didn't do like best actor, best supporting, best actress, best supporting. I did best actor, best actress, and then I did best villain, because I feel like some of the supporting ones that I'm interested in are villains. And so I thought we could just kind of do that as a separate category. And so for best actor, some of the people who are included here arguably could be called like supporting actors. I also might have left people out. This is definitely one where I feel like it could be supplemented. So definitely feel free, Victor, Kyle, or anyone who happens to join us. Leave your thoughts on anyone that I didn't include here. But some of the actors that I included, I've got Stephen Lang here as the prophet Samuel in House of David, seasons 1 and 2. Obviously, Jonathan Rumi as Jesus, The Chosen, season 5. A couple other House of David ones. So Michael Iskander as David, and Ali Suleiman as King Saul. And then I also thought I would throw in Wasim Nomani as Moses in The Promised Land. So wide range of types of performances for male actors. Yeah, any ones that you guys would add before we get to discussing the relative.
I just want to say what an embarrassment of riches we have in 2025, that there's actually 5 legitimate, hard to decide between fantastic performances in a faith-based show. So
I agree.
Congratulations, faith-based filmmakers.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's a good list.
Good list. Okay. Any ones that you guys want to push for? You don't have to just choose one if there's like a couple that stand out to you.
I mean, in all of them, they have the kind of the same, the burden of being characters we're very familiar with,
Yep.
and they have to somehow bring them to life in a way that's not all boring and old fashioned, and bring them to life. Like Samuel is like, I wasn't really thinking about him as a character to care about going into this thing because he was there. He was just kind of a secondary. But for me, I would almost put him as a 1A character, 1A of importance, and how much I enjoyed his performance. I'm like Samuel, he's like that's a cool dude. He's a Gandalf level character in the Bible now, where before he wasn't quite that mentally in my mind prior to that. And like kind of, and all of them have that same kind of thing. It's like these are the guy that plays Saul. I mean, Saul was another. He was going to be the easy villain, but he's a much more complicated character. The way he's written, but also the way he's performed, was made him a very complex and interesting character that you almost kind of sympathize with. Not sympathize, but you understand where he's coming from, even though he's totally wrong in all of his decisions. You see why it makes sense for him in that moment.
Yep. Kyle, what about with you?
Yeah, I loved Samuel, and I thought his performance was so charismatic and funny and fun, and like he had real weight to him. So him and David would be my favorites of this group. They were just so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
But honestly, Saul is such a well-performed character too. I like you were saying, Victor, they're all amazing. I haven't seen enough of Moses. I've only seen the first episode. So I haven't gotten the full, and everybody knows Jonathan Rumy's great. So, but I think my two, if I had to vote, it would be hard for me between Samuel and David.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, I really liked some of the complexities in Saul's character. So it's definitely a standout for me. I agree with you guys on Samuel. I love kind of some of the different dimensions of him that they brought, and how he could be funny but also weighty and caring, and I just caught my another Stephen Lang movie. I've mentioned earlier in the podcast that I'm a horror fan, and I just caught Don't Breathe, where he plays a very different character. He's just a great actor. And then, I mean, Jonathan Rumi, he has a lot to do in season 5, a lot of kind of weight to bear with The Chosen. And so I do, appreciate all that he brought to that performance. It was definitely a difficult task, especially, all the speeches he had to do, and there's just like a lot that was on him. So
he was not the problem with season 5.
Yes.
He was what he elevated some of the other issues, or brought the issues up where they weren't as noticeable.
Yep, totally agree. Okay, so turning to our actresses, threw a few out here. Again, feel free to add to this list. So from House of David, Michal, her sister Mirab, and their mother Ahinoam. I love all the women in the House of Saul for different reasons. I think Ahinoam is probably my front runner. Actually, probably just in general. I thought she had a really interesting performance, and I was just really interested by the character and what they did with her. But I also enjoyed, Elizabeth Tibish is always great as Mary Magdalene, and Shireen Khan is great as Miriam. Actually, sorry, I just realized I didn't name the actresses for the other. So Indy Lewis is Michal, Yali Topol Margulith is Mirab, and then Ayala Zurer, who I actually got to interview, so you can check out that interview, was Ahinoam. So
congratulations on saying all those names. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Any ones that you guys want to add, or ones you want to really elevate?
The top. Go on, Vic.
No, go ahead.
The top right. Forgive forgive a divisive political reference. I apologize in advance. Commenters, please don't get mad at Kevin for this. The top right, she's the Hillary Clinton type performance, right?
Oh.
It's like the wife of the king who's really kind of running the show. Is that's who she is, right? Okay, it's been a little bit
to use a more like out of our current political moment reference, like the Lady Macbeth type character.
Okay, that's better. Lady Macbeth. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Cersei from Game of Thrones.
I still haven't seen that show. I saw several episodes. We can get on. It's a great show. It was a little spicy for me, but we can continue.
So these, I didn't feel that Mary Magdalene got as much to do this season as she has. I mean, she was great in what she was given to do, especially the Diane you scene, but it was like kind of like they were struggling to find things for her to do. It's probably going to be a little more of that next season too.
Yeah, I put her on here because I thought she did a good job with what she was given, but I agree with you that the show didn't kind of serve the character super well. And yeah, I don't think there are any other kind of candidates from The Chosen season 5 that I missed. Yeah, definitely kind of a more male, even though they had that amazing scene with the Dayanu, the season as a whole was definitely more male dominated.
She looks like she came from a Leonardo da Vinci painting in that thumbnail, though.
Yeah.
My thoughts are the Promised Land actress, very funny. She did a great job. And the best actress would probably be the Macbeth lady to me. But my favorite,
I agree.
My favorite would be Macau. I thought she was so fun to watch. I really thought she did a great job. Her sister, this is a great crop too.
Like, you haven't seen season 2 yet. In season 2, all of the characters are elevated. I mean, everything they kind of set up in the first season gets amplified and paid off to wonderful ways, to where it's like the entire cast, especially the female cast, is like, across the board, it's like one just great cast. Same thing on the men's side too. It's like they're just it's tough to decide because they just as an entire unit, it just solid across the board.
Yeah. Here's somewhere where like House of David definitely kind of excels over The Chosen. Like The Chosen, they've got some female characters, but they rarely are given kind of as much like kind of meaty stuff to do as the female characters in House of David. And just the performances are really great by all three of these actresses. Cool. Well, we can move on to the villains. So best villain in a Bible show / film in 2025. So this could be a mixture of kind of the performance as well as the writing of the villain. So I've got in here Judas in Chosen season 5, Caiaphas in Chosen season 5, Shmuel in Chosen season 5. Could have put Atticus is kind of like a complicated character, whether you consider him a villain. But I know some people might have wanted him there. Goliath, I know for you, Kyle, is a big favorite from House of David. Eshbal, I think, really shines in season 2 and becomes a much more interesting character. I also figured I would throw in the Satan from the Carpenter's Son, which I think is probably like the strongest element in that movie. They do a pretty interesting job of like crafting a kind of a personality and a backstory for their Satan character, which that's like probably one of the more like biblically accurate, or at least like kind of could potentially fit within the biblical bounds of that movie. So anything that I missed? Any ones that you guys really want to argue for?
You could put Saul in here.
I thought about putting Saul. I thought about putting Ahinoam. Like with Saul, I feel like in season 1, he definitely isn't really a villain. Like he does some bad things, but he's I think more of like kind of a complicated. torn up character. Season 2, he definitely starts moving in the direction of villainy and some of the things that he orders, and especially by the end of the season, he's kind of fully over the finish line. But I thought I would kind of like hold him back. Well, I don't know. Do you guys want to put him here? I'm fine putting him here. What do you think?
I mean, I see your point. I can go with your. They're represented in other spots. So
yeah.
This is my time to shine on Goliath. That poor, misunderstood, manipulated, lovable giant does not belong on a best villain list. They did him wrong, man.
But that's part of what makes him the best. He's just like some of the best villains. Like people, I've got one of the podcasts that I love listening to is called The Villain Is Right. It's about how all these classic villains are actually the ones that are in the right. So some of the best villains are characters where you can totally take their side and be like, oh yeah, they were just kind of misunderstood or put in a bad situation. So
well, especially sweet Goliath, who didn't have a misguided but understandable motive like Thanos, where something complex like that. The poor guy just loved his mother and was told that the Hebrews murdered his mother, and then he was fed to the slaughter. He was just lied to and put out there. The poor guy. Then we had to watch him brutally die.
Well, he was corrupted by AI imagery too, so
because he never had a chance.
Oh, any other kind of anybody that I missed on this list that you guys want to?
I'll tell you. And by the way, my apologies. I actually have got to go after this. Sorry. Sorry to bombard you. That I would say Caiaphas. Of the villains that I enjoy watching, he is low on my list.
Okay.
He was not fun on screen to watch.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And man, I am not hating on the show. Judas was not that fun to watch to me. So
I thought they did a great job on Judas.
Yeah.
He was going to be the toughest character out of everybody in this story to make compelling to watch.
Yeah,
he's the bad guy. I mean, he's the name you use for betrayal. I mean, his name is there next to the betrayal in the dictionaries. I mean, to make him humanize him in any way to where you don't necessarily think he's misunderstood or a good guy, but you understand where he's coming from and that he's just absolutely wrong.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And the way that they wrote him and the way the actor played him did make me not like him. I just he's kind of a punchable, like you want to punch him.
Yeah.
There's something about him. So they did a good job with that. So the bottom middle guy from House of David, even in season 1, just reprehensible. You really he's charismatic.
Yeah,
he's charismatic on screen, and somebody like him.
Yep.
So he was fun for me to watch. And yeah, there you go.
Victor, who's kind of your top?
I would put Judas in there as out of this list. I mean, he was just the one I felt was most compelling, and it's going to be heartbreaking when you get to see what happens in season 6. You're not necessarily going to be hating him. You're going to feel miserable for him that he has done this, which is an interesting way that they could have taken this character a completely different direction, and just to humanize him in any kind of way I thought was an interesting choice, and I think they pulled it off pretty good.
Okay.
You guys, I apologize. I'm gonna have to jump off here.
Okay. I'll still incorporate your feedback on some of these final. I'll send you an email, and you can kind of include your kind of vote in the final decision. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Kyle.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Good seeing you again.
See ya. It was great seeing you.
Yeah. So next category, I thought we could talk about like best show or film for use in like a Bible study or some kind of church-based discussion or something like that. So the Chosen, I think, has really ridden the wave of that type of thing. There are tons of churches that are using the Chosen in regular Bible studies. By the way, if you're looking for Bible study resources with the Chosen, I've got ones which you can get a kind of a free blog format, or you can join my membership to get kind of PDFs of all of my studies for Chosen season 1 through 5. Thank you, Victor, for showcasing my work. So the Chosen is kind of the classic case for this. Lots of options, either season of House of David. I kind of separated those out. Even though like I had issues with Testament for various reasons, I think if you're just kind of using it to kind of illustrate some biblical stories, I think they do, the biblical stories like fairly accurately in kind of the context that they have. So I could see that being useful for some people. And then, I thought Light of the World, it packs a lot of different biblical stories in. And so I thought, if you were kind of wanting to do like a movie night or something, that would be a worthwhile inclusion. Victor, any thoughts on that category?
I mean, the Chosen is just the obvious one.
Yep.
It's like even like I had some watch parties with House of David, and I didn't feel it really led to a lot of discussion, because it's like it was more just because I guess that whole story is more chronological based. I mean, it's like this happens and this happens, as opposed to how are we supposed to become people. Where the Chosen is just so much more. I mean, it's obviously that's the roadmap for what we're supposed to do. Where the story of David is more of a history.
Yeah, you're right. It kind of the application and kind of the there's relevance to David, but it takes like a few more steps, and it doesn't kind of immediately lend itself to like, here's this line from the movie, let's discuss this and kind of see the application. I think I agree with you. Probably the Chosen is kind of the shoe-in for this category. And this season really, it did have some great moments for conversation. I mean, you've got, all the stuff from the Last Supper and the Upper Room Discourse. One of my favorite scenes, the washing of the disciples' feet. So lots of like great conversations to be had about Jesus, about what it means to follow him. So that is probably my leading candidate, but I at least wanted to kind of broaden horizons for options that are out there.
Yeah, the House of David had a lot of like, did that really happen? And sure enough, it was in the Bible. A lot of those scenes where it's like, oh wow, that was in there. I never read that before.
Yeah, and what I did with my Bible study for House of David is I did it more based on some of the kind of the biblical context which House of David is pointing to, and especially in season 1 I did this. I haven't started on season 2, and that'll be kind of a different kind of tricky thing to approach. But in season 1, there's a lot of like each episode kind of has often multiple kind of Old Testament texts or stories that it is kind of referencing back on and kind of elaborating on or using in different ways. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting thing that you could potentially do, as opposed to like trying to, go over the story, the biblical story that the show is doing, and then watching it, like kind of going through some of these Old Testament texts and principles that the story is drawing on. So if you do want to study House of David, I do have a study for my members where I kind of do some of that stuff. But that being said, I do think The Chosen is probably the stronger candidate for this. Okay, now we're getting towards the end. So 2 main categories and then one kind of final question to get to. So The first one is the best animated Bible show or film of 2025. I decided, there's not enough to do both like movie and shows as separate categories. And I thought it made more sense as opposed to separating out movies and shows. I thought it made more sense to kind of separate out animated and live action projects or whatever. And so major kind of most of them are movies. The oldest one is King of Kings. We discussed that a little bit. That's the one where Charles Dickens is telling the story to his kids, the story of Jesus's life. So I will try to catch that in the next week or so before we make any final decisions, because I have not seen that yet. Light of the World is also a retelling of the Jesus story, but there's no kind of frame narrative. Instead, we're really anchored in the perspective of John, and he is portrayed as a kid, like probably like a teenager maybe, and it's got a real kind of Disney 90s vibe to it. I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was like super well executed, even though it didn't get like a ton of. I feel like it didn't get as much attention as some other stuff did. And then final movie, which is. It just had kind of its preview showing this past weekend, and it kind of has the wider release this upcoming weekend, is the David movie, which has been in production for a long time, and there was a lot of drama where it was with Angel, and then the 5 and 2 studios that produces The Chosen kind of wrangled it from Angel, because there was discussions of whether Angel was kind of living up to its contract. But then Angel was able to like pull it back with a real sweet offer, apparently. And so that just came out. I just did my review, just published it earlier today. And so you can read that. I thought it was well made, like technically and in like a lot of aspects. And I'll be honest, like I'm not super into musicals. I'm not super in like, in terms of like animation, I definitely prefer 2D to 3D. And so I had kind of that against it, even though the animation is really beautiful in that movie. It's really well done, even for someone who kind of has a slight prejudice there. And then I'm also not like super into like CCM, and it felt like kind of like musical music crossed with CCM kind of music. So I probably wasn't kind of the ideal audience, but like it was a good movie, but in terms of like movies, I think I liked Light of the World the best. Chosen Adventures is a show that was released this fall, and so it follows Abigail and Joshua, the two kids from episode 3 of The Chosen season 1. So it starts with kind of that classic episode of The Chosen, and then it continues to kind of follow their adventures where they occasionally run into Jesus and some of the other disciples. Victor, I don't think you've had a chance to.
I haven't seen any of these, but I do want to watch the Chosen Adventures. That's probably the first one on my list.
Yeah, it's really good. My daughter has really loved it. There's some really like interesting like thematic stuff, like some like kind of obvious places that they go. They have like she has there's a family that moves in that's like a Roman family, and the boy is kind of a bully, but they eventually kind of win him over, like that kind of thing. That's like a more obvious direction type show, but they also have some like really kind of creative directions that they go. Like there's a show about Abigail where she goes to the synagogue for the first time, and she's kind of struggling to like pay attention and stay awake. She starts like using her imagination. There's this episode where we see it from like different perspectives, and like from her perspective, like she has a really frustrating day, but then we see things from like the bird's perspective, and she the bird sees how God is kind of protecting Abigail. So they do some really interesting creative stuff. So that's another strong contender for me, because I did really like that. And I think it's really well executed. And the animation is unique. It's 3D, but it has almost like kind of a claymation sort of texture to it that I liked. And so Yeah. Again, if you are just joining us, feel free to leave your own thoughts, your own suggestions if we leave something out. But yeah, as far as this category, I am leaning towards either The Chosen Adventures or Light of the World. I haven't made a final decision on that, but I thought they were really good. David was good, but like it had like super high press and kind of expectations, and it worked on a lot of levels, but I think they made some mistakes in terms of like storytelling that that made it not as compelling to me as it could have been, unfortunately. But it technically very well put together movie. Okay, now best live action Bible show or film of 2025. I just included everything on here. I only put a picture of House of David season 2, but you could include either season 1 or season 2. Yeah, Victor, I'm curious. I talked a while about the animation stuff. What are your thoughts on this?
I'd have to give it to House of David because I was blown away by the show. I was skeptical going in, and that's maybe not skeptical, but just just kind of cautious about it, and I was just blown away every step of the way. The acting, the even with using the AI graphic design, I thought it was exceptional looking. It felt epic. Just all the choices. Like there's so many ways that the show could have gone, taken the wrong steps, and it just kind of hit each step of the way of all the little trouble spots that I was worried about. They exceeded them, and it was just it was an epic story from beginning to end, and hopefully we get another season of it here soon.
Yeah. I'm curious. I haven't decided. Like, do you think we should combine season 1 and 2 for the purpose of this category, or do you think we should like separate them and have to decide between them?
I mean, if I had to choose, I would say season 2 was the
okay.
But it built on season 1. So I mean, they're kind of all together. So for our purposes, let's just leave it as one season.
Leave it together. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's definitely the front runner for me too. I loved I love The Promised Land, and I don't think I like hated The Chosen season 5 as much as Kyle did. It had some good stuff, some other aspects that were a little disappointing. I put Carpenter's Son on here just to be inclusive, but it definitely is not up there, both for biblical reasons and also just kind of storytelling reasons, and Testament we discussed and weren't super impressed with. But I applaud them for giving it a good try and like having a cool idea that they ran with. But in terms of execution, I definitely don't think is anywhere kind of in the running for the top. So
I'd go House of David, Promised Land, and then Chosen would be my order.
I think that would probably be me too. Okay. Oh, yes. And then what do you think is your most anticipated Bible show or film for 2026? I didn't put there's some ones that I think have been announced, but we don't have like any images of. So I think Fox might have some sort of show that's in development called The Faithful, which is about the women of Genesis. But the ones that I put up here, so we know for sure there's going to be Joseph. I don't know. I don't think they've given us an exact date, but I think they've said like 2025 to 2026. So it may come in 2026 to 2027. So it may come this year, may come next year. So that's definitely out there as an option. Obviously, Chosen season 6 is going to be coming in the fall, and I am looking forward to what they're going to do there. Zero AD was going to come this year, and then it got booted because David stole its spot, and so I imagine that's going to come in 2026. I put on here an image from this isn't from a biblical movie, but it's an image from one of now I'm forgetting his name, Tree of Life guy. Thin Red.
Terrence Malick.
It's Malick, yeah. So he's had this biblical movie that he's been working on since like 2019. He's been like editing it for that entire time, and people have discussed how like is this movie ever actually gonna like come to fruition, because he has like hours and hours of footage, and he's like super meticulous about his editing and stuff like that. But it was supposed to come out in 2025, I think. And so maybe we'll see it in 2026, or maybe we won't. Also, yeah, maybe we'll get The Promised Land season 2, hopefully. Hopefully we'll get another season of House of David, although, you know, if they wanted to take a year off after releasing 2 seasons in a year and didn't get something out until maybe like spring of 2027, I certainly wouldn't blame them. But I hope we get another season of House of David in there. Maybe we'll
There's also the Resurrection of the Christ. That's the Passion of the Christ sequel. I think
that's
coming out
2027.
27. Okay.
Yeah. I think.
I mean, it sounds like that's going to be bonkers, but
yeah.
Willing to see what he does with that.
Yep. Yeah. So that's definitely on my radar. But from what I've heard, it's going to be a 2-part release in spring of 2027. Okay. So we'll have a little battle.
I did hear that it's going to be like right around Easter Sunday weekend, I think, or something like that.
Yep. So
of these, I would have to say I'm super hopeful that season 6 of The Chosen is just able to nail what it needs to do.
Yep.
that was not a pun. That was completely by accident, but yeah, I think it's like I hope maybe if they examined what they did for season 5 and maybe saw some of their shortcomings, that hopefully they can kind of get all that worked out and really hit this one sequence that's going to be, that's what the whole show's been building.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's hard to to not be excited for season 6. Although, I'm interested to see what they do with Joseph. But it's a little more of like because it's a different director and writing team and stuff like that. So I know that Dallas and stuff are providing oversight. But yeah,
that's the one I'm kind of most looking at, because I'm like, okay, let's see if somebody else besides Dallas can work within this framework. Yeah, and if they can do something good with that, then I'm excited for all the rest of the Chosen verse coming out.
Yeah. And then one final question to consider: what should we call our awards? Victor and I, we've kind of been banding about different ideas, so I've got a few of them up here. So I think one that you came up with was like Bezies in honor of Bezalel. So these are like, what should we call the awards that we are kind of bestowing on these top Bible movies and shows? Because this is our first award show. This is the first year when there's really been enough Bible movies and shows out there where it would be worth kind of doing this sort of thing. So Bezies in honor of Bezalel, who's the famous creator of the tabernacle. You also suggested Tallies for talents. I thought like Bronzies for the bronze serpent, because like the bronze serpent is like an act of creativity, which can bring healing, but it can also like mislead you if it's kind of misused in the wrong way. So I thought that was kind of interestingly symbolic of kind of the promise of Bible adaptation, but also potentially, it can be a challenge.
Danger.
Icons is like a little like overused word, but it's the Greek word for image, like image of God. Tabernacles, bibbies, you could just do something general like the Bible Artist Awards. That's a little clearer and straight to the point. Adams. I don't know. Do you have anything that you are leaning towards, Victor?
I could go with either the Bronzies or the Bezies would be my 2 choices out of all those, or just the Bible Artist Awards. We want to be nice and formal and formal about it.
Yeah, I think those are probably my top 3 choices as well. I have like a strong opinion here, and so this is one of the ones where I would be most swayed if there is any sort of response from people who are watching, and so definitely feel free to toss in your own ideas or make your vote heard. So like I said, I think tomorrow I will post a follow-up to this conversation in the blog where I'll have a link to this video, and I'll have opportunity to vote on these different things so that you can kind of make your own voice heard. You might sway us if you leave your thoughts in the comments and try to make an argument. Most likely you won't. I think most of our opinions are fairly kind of like well-formed by this point, or like we're kind of set in our perspective, but you can at least make your own voice heard, and we can kind of announce like this is kind of the critic's choice, and this is the audience choice if we get enough responses. And so definitely check that out. If you are kind of subscribed to the Bible Artist blog, then you should get an update with that. But yeah, that was a long discussion, but also fun. Thank you so much, Victor, for joining me. Thank you, Kyle, for joining us for a bit as well. And thanks all of you for joining, especially those of you who joined us in the chat and the comments. And thanks also for everyone who's just listening, and especially if you participate in the conversation later on and kind of leave your thoughts, make your voice heard through voting. That's all very appreciated. It's been a great year to be discussing Bible adaptations and thinking through. We have just a embarrassment of riches in this budding genre. It's so cool to see how it is really diversified over just the course of a year. And we've got so many different types of Bible shows and Bible movies, and I'm excited to see what 2026 brings. And so thanks for making this possible. Even just doing small things like subscribing to the YouTube channel, liking videos, subscribing to the blog, and kind of checking out the different stuff I'm posting there. That's all very helpful. Special thanks to anyone who has been a supporter of some sort, either a annual member or monthly member or just one-time givers. That is all super appreciated. Because I take up way more of my time than I am actually, if you kind of look at the payment to the actual work that I do. But it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really grateful to be able to do all of that. And so whatever you're able to give makes that possible. So thank you all, and thank you, God, for what you're doing and bringing all these amazing things, and to all the creators and stuff as well, who God kind of inspired and moved to work on this stuff. That's a lot of thank yous, but we have a lot to be grateful for. So thanks everybody, and Godspeed. Good night.